Hello everyone, how's it going? Sheffield Ram here, bringing you back a brand new video here on my channel. So today guys, this is a requested video from someone who watched my last video. Today I'm going to be ranking my favourite away days, well I say away days, my favourite experiences from going to different stadiums, if you will. So yeah. I know it's a bit hard to see on the paper, guys, but here is a list of the stadiums that I've been to, so I'll read them out in case you can't see them. So, Aston Villa, Barnsley, Birmingham, Blackburn, Bolton, Brentford, Brighton, Bristol City, Burton, Cardiff, Crystal Palace, Derby, Doncaster, Fulham, Grimsby, Huddersfield, Hull, Ipswich, Leicester, Millwall, Norwich, Forest, Notts County, Oldham, Preston, QPR, Reading, Rotherham, Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, Sunderland, Wigan, Wolves. So without further ado, guys, here is a list of my favourite stadiums. 33. Blundell Park, Grimsby Town. Now, I feel kind of bad for putting Blundell Park at the bottom, considering Grimsby's size, but let me just justify why I've put them where I have. So, Grimsby Town, they're a very small club, and a very sort of drabby ground. It's really, I don't know, I find it very ugly. There's just not a lot attractive about it, and it's a bit like a garden shed. The area that it's in is a bit of a dump as well. It's got a McDonald's around the corner, and it is your typical sort of local football club ground, but it just doesn't really offer anything. It's very shabby, grey and dull, and it meant us having to come back for a replay because it didn't have the right draining facilities. So yeah, that's the only reason I can really think of putting Grimsby at the bottom. They just have nothing to offer, and it's just a very sort of typical League 2 tin pot ground. Number 32, the Kiyan Foundation Stadium, Queen's Park Rangers. Now, I came here in the 2016-2017 season when I came down to London as part of a two-game, what I like to call holiday. So yeah, I came down to London to watch Derby take on QPR and Fulham in the same week. And as much as I enjoyed my time in London, coming to QPR Stadium, it just wasn't really what I was looking forward to. I was more looking forward to going to watch Derby at Fulham. But see, Loftus Road, as it's also known as, it's very claustrophobic, I find. There's not a lot of room to move about, and a lot of the views are restricted, and there's just not a lot that it offers in terms of the stadium. It's not really one that people look forward to. It was just no atmosphere either. I just don't really know how to really big this stadium up. It's just really drab, and I don't really like the fact that it's claustrophobic, so I can't really rank it any higher. So yeah, I put that at number 32. Number 31, the Den Millwall. Now I can probably expect a brick from my window for putting Millwall so far down, but right, let me just justify why I've put this down so far. So in terms of how the stadium looks, it just lacks character. It lacks any sort of identity. All the stands are the same, and it's just not even in a nice area of London. I don't really know what I can say about this stadium. All the stands are symmetrical, and they don't really have any stands in the name of any legends or anyone that actually represents the club. Like the Cold Blow Lane end, that just sounds like it's supposed to be like like an air conditioning company or something like that. It's not a nice stadium, and it's just bleak, it's bland, there's no character to it, and it makes the club seem dry, dull, and, well, identityless. I don't even know if that's a word, but yeah, I can't rank Millwall any higher, so sorry if you're a Millwall fan, but yeah, the Den's just not my cup of tea at all. Number 30, the Madejski Stadium, Reading FC. So coming in at number 30, I put Reading's Madejski Stadium, and the reason that I've put it so low down the table is, despite the fact of it being a modern stadium and looking better than probably all the other stadiums that have been on this list so far, is the fact that Reading, it literally gives the name of the stereotype of a soulless bowl stadium. It's a bowl-shaped stadium, and there's literally just no atmosphere at Reading's home games. I mean, sometimes they can make a little bit of noise, but when I went, there was literally just no atmosphere, there was no noise from the home fans, and it's just off the M1, it's got no character to it, so I can't really rank Reading any higher than 30th place. Number 29, Ewood Park, Blackburn Rovers. So I put Ewood Park down at number 29 just because of the fact that it's quite similar to Millwall's Den. 3 of the stands are quite symmetrical, and the only stand that isn't symmetrical is the one that you can see on the on the photo now, which is, I think, the oldest stand that they've got going still. But despite that, the away end, they do give a decent away man tickets out, but where it's situated, you literally can't really have much banter. It's just, you're sat next to like 14, 15-year-olds just giving it large. It's not fun, really, and I don't really think anyone looks forward to the day out at Blackburn unless you're a rival. So, yeah, I've put them at number 29. Number 28, the KCOM Stadium, Hull City. So, I know that Hull used to have quite a good atmosphere at Boothby Park, which was their old ground before they moved to the KCOM. But since they moved to the KCOM Stadium, they've just lost that sort of atmosphere, and it's just another soulless bowl, a little bit like Reading. So yeah, that's why I've ranked Hull down as far as I have. Another factor that I've ranked them down so much is because they share the stadium with their rugby club, you know. And I don't like football clubs that share the stadium with rugby clubs. It just sort of doesn't give them their own identity, and that's sort of, you can see it in like the seating, the coloration of the stadium. Like Hull City are known as the Amber and Black, the Tigers. So yeah, I think the fact that they share the stadium as well sort of ranks them down. Number 27, the New York Stadium, Rotherham United. So coming in at number 27 is Rotherham United's New York Stadium. And I personally think that the New York Stadium looks like it's made out of concrete and Lego. Now the stands just look very square, they look very sort of jagged, and when you actually go to the stadium, the seats and the stands are actually quite steep, so yeah, I'm not too sure about this one. I mean, it's not a terrible stadium in terms of looks, but it is another soulless bowl. It's just not got any character about it again. The only reason I've ranked it higher than Hull and Reading is just because of the fact of when I went here with Derby, it was the last game of the season, and you know, it was a 1-1 draw, but Forest were in the relegation zone, and they were technically relegated at one point. But yeah, the atmosphere was good from Derby fans, and it was a decent away day, so yeah, that's why I've marked him there. Number 26, Boundary Park, Oldham Athletic. So I went here last season when we played Oldham in the EFL Cup, and yeah, it's just a ground it's a typical League 2 ground. One of the stands has been recently renovated, and yeah, it's not quite as bad as Grimsby, it's not as drabby, but nothing really special about it. Home fans were quiet, but that's obviously expectable of a cup match against a championship club when you're League 2. So yeah, nothing really special. The away day was alright, you know, we had a good time. So yeah, it's an average ground. Number 26, the UniBol Stadium-Bolton Wanderers. So despite the fact that the UniBol Stadium is quite a modern stadium, the thing that I like the most about it is the fact that the stadium itself is a stadium and a hotel combined. So literally in between both tiers of the stands, there are hotel rooms, which I do find quite nifty, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's quite, you know, unique in itself. But yeah, the Bolton fans actually still make quite a little bit of noise, despite the fact that they, you know, are in a position that they are. But yeah, when I went there, it was a 0-0 draw. It was nothing special, but yeah, they do have some credit, so I'll give them that. Number 24, Oakwell, Barnsley. So at number 24, I put Oakwell at Barnsley. Now, I do like this stadium, to be quite fair, just because of the fact it's got a very sort of local, towny sort of feel to it. It's a very old-fashioned stadium, especially that stands to the left-hand side of the away end. And Barnsley do actually give quite a decent number of away tickets out, so it is a decent away day if you bring the fans. I definitely remember the 2013 to 2014 season when Derby brought about 6,000 fans to Barnsley. You know, that was a really good day out, and Derby fans made a lot of noise, and Barnsley fans do know how to make a racket when, you know, they're having their day. So I can't deny that this is a decent stadium, but yeah, it still could do a bit of sprucing up if they want to be make it a better stadium. So yeah, ranked it where I have. Number 23, the DW Stadium, Wigan Athletic. So if you want to go on a proper typical good away day, Wigan Athletic's probably the best place to come to. Despite the fact that the fans don't really make much atmosphere or much noise, it is a really, really good away day. Mostly because of the fact that Wigan give like a good allocation of tickets to the away fans, and also because them tickets are really, really cheap. And so it sort of makes up for a really good away day. You know, you can save money, you can have a good time, loads of fans go. Well, that's if you take the numbers again, obviously. And the music that they play before the match as well is like proper like old school music, and I don't know, I really like the fact that they've done that. It's kind of different, and it's a really good away day. And I think that if the home fans actually turn up, that it could like make for a really better experience. So yeah, I put Wigan where they have, but it sort of gets marked down just because of the fact that it shares its ground with the rugby team again. So yeah, sorry Wigan, but that's the reason why you've just missed out on getting a higher position. At number 22 is the Cardiff City Stadium, Cardiff City. So I've put Cardiff City where I have because despite the fact of it being a new stadium, the home fans do actually know how to make a good atmosphere, especially in the South Wales derby, and when it comes to big matches, they do know how to make a racket. So I've ranked Cardiff where I have because this, although it's a bowl-shaped stadium, it's not soulless. It does have some character, it has some life, it has some atmosphere. So Cardiff deserves some credit in terms of their atmosphere and the home fans. So despite the fact that when I went here we lost 2-1, but Cardiff deserves some respect. So yeah, they're at number 22. I reckon to make it better that the home fans should be put nearer to the away fans to, get a bit of banter, a bit more of a better atmosphere between the home and away fans. So yeah, that's what they could improve on. Number 21, the John Smith Stadium, Huddersfield Town. This is probably one of the most underrated stadiums in the whole of the league, but in terms of atmosphere, this can be a very, very noisy stadium on its day. Huddersfield Town have very underrated fans, and when I went, it was a feisty game. It was a 4-4 draw, really entertaining, really end to end. We 1-0 up, ended up going, I believe it was 3-1 down, pulled it back to 3-3, then it was 3-1, and then 4-3, and then it was 4-4. So it was a really entertaining game and a really good stadium to go to. So I've ranked them where I have just because of the fact of the away day in itself, and because of the atmosphere. It was just a good experience. So yeah, I've only ranked it where I have though just because of the fact that I don't really like the design of the stadium, of them being separate sort of semicircle looking stands. So yeah, that's just what's a bit off-putting for this stadium for me. So yeah, I'll put them at number 21 for that reason. Number 20, Portman Road, Ipswich Town. I came here in the 14-15 season when both Derby County and Ipswich Town were challenging for promotion, and Derby did end up winning 1-0 in this match. And despite the fact of having to wake up at 4 a.m. just to get there for a 12 o'clock kickoff, I really enjoyed the experience at Portman Road. It's got a lot of character to it, a really old-fashioned stadium that stayed true to its colours. It is getting a bit run down and a bit shabby, especially on the opposite stand to the away end, but you can't really knock this stadium. It's not a bad stadium in the slightest. It's average if anything, but I think for it to be better, with Cardiff City, they need to move the home and away fans, the noisy home fans, close to the away fans to make a bit more of a better atmosphere, because that's just one thing that lets it down. But despite that, Portman Road's quite a decent stadium. Number 19, Ashton Gate, Bristol City. When I came here in the 2016-27 season, we drew 1-1 at Bristol City, and to be quite honest, I think the stadium's quite overrated. The modern stands are nice, but the away end is just really old-fashioned. It's really drab, and one thing that annoyed me the most about it is the fact that they didn't take card on the day. It could have been a decent day, but when you want a drink and you've not got a card, or any notice that there's no card available, it sort of just ruins it a bit, you know what I mean? They should either let the fans know that they've not got card machines or anything like that, but that I don't know if they've sorted it since, but it's a big factor that sort of still sticks out in my mind, that the fact that they don't have a card machine for you to use if you've not got any cash on you, or any pre-warning that it's card only. So that's a big letdown for Bristol City and a big letdown for the ground. Though to be quite honest with you, Bristol fans have definitely got a good atmosphere, so I can't take that away from them. But yeah, it's overrated, but it's not a bad stadium, so I put it at number 19 for that reason. 18, Molineux-Wolverhampton Wanderers. This is certainly a unique stadium in terms of its coloration and shape. So obviously it's got the old orange and black of Wolverhampton Wanderers, but if you look at the shape of the stadium from above, it's actually quite octagonal, which is unique in itself. And the stadium itself, I think it's quite grand. I think it's a really nice looking stadium. Got a lot of atmosphere about it. The only thing that lets it down is the fact of where they put the away fans, which is right below the home fans. And it's just, I don't know, I prefer the away fans to be sort of like behind the goal or maybe in a corner or just take up half the stand on both top and bottom tiers. So it's sort of more equal. But to have them at the bottom tier of a long stand with the home fans above, I just think it's a bit risky, especially if, you know, it's the rival fans. So yeah, I'm gonna put them where I have just because of that fact. But it's certainly not a bad stadium, and it's certainly an average stadium at best.
Number 17, the Keepmoat Stadium, Doncaster Rovers. Now at number 17, I put Doncaster Rovers Keepmoat Stadium just because of the pure fact it has personal sentimental value to me, because it was the first away day that I did go on. And yeah, we did win 2-0 in that game back in the 2013-14 season through Chris Martin and George Thorne. And the away day itself was good, they gave out a good amount of tickets and it was a really good day out. But other than that, the stadium's just another soulless bowl. But just for personal sentimental value, I've ranked it at number 17 because it was really a good away day and I really enjoyed myself, the limbs on the day and everything like that. It's just one to remember for me. So yeah, I've ranked it at number 17 for that reason. Number 16, the Pirelli Stadium-Burton, Albion. I've ranked Pirelli Stadium number 16 because in terms of small clubs and small stadiums, this is actually quite a neat little ground. It's quirky, it's small, it's got the old stand terraces, and I don't know, there's just a really nice charm about it. Despite the fact of obviously being a Derby fan and Burton Albion being, well, they're not really our rivals, but we're their rivals, and I suppose that gives it, a bit of a Derby rivalry about it. But Burton Albion's not a bad stadium in the slightest. For small stadiums, it's really neat, it's really it's a smart ground, and so I've ranked it where I have, just because of the fact that it's probably one of the best out of all the smaller grounds that there are in the 92 grounds around the country. So yeah, hats off to Burton for that, for their stadium. It's definitely up there in terms of the size and the capacity.
Number 15, the Stadium of Light, Sunderland AFC. I really enjoyed my trip to Sunderland's Stadium of Light back at the start of the 2017-18 season. When we went there, we drew 1-1 with Sunderland, and the match itself wasn't the best. Derby didn't play the best, but in terms of a matchday experience, the stewards were really nice. The fans were loud. The away fans were loud, and there's a good tribute to Bradley Lowry. We all got a free drink on with a voucher that the EFL gave to the away fans. And it was just all around a good day out. There's nothing really bad about the stadium either. The only thing that just bugs me is the fact that we're in the high heavens when I think we could be moved a bit further down. But no, it's a average stadium, but I did enjoy the away day, so that's why I've ranked Stadium of Light at number 15. Number 14, Carrow Road, Norwich City. Carrow Road certainly is a vibrant stadium, and I really do like its coloration and the shape of the stadium. It's got character to it, it's got charm to it. And the Norwich City fans are certainly a friendly bunch, but one thing that puts me off this stadium that I remember about this away day was the fact that these stewards were just really rude. They just didn't, I don't know, they just seemed very rude on the day. They just seemed very sort of reserved, and that's the only reason why I've not ranked Norwich any higher. But apart from that, the away day was good. We won 2-1, brilliant atmosphere from the Derby fans, and there's certainly no bad blood for the Norwich City fans there either. So yeah, I've ranked it at number 14 just because of that. Number 13, Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace. Now, I went here in January. If you've not watched my vlog, then make sure to click on my vlog after this video. But yeah, I really enjoyed my trip out to Crystal Palace back in January. Yes, we won 1-0, and to be honest, it's complete opposite to Carrow Road Stadium. The stewards were really friendly, the staff were all really nice, and yeah, there's just not really a lot bad to say about this ground. The only thing that just bugs me a bit is the fact of when you're watching the game, the away end, it's sort of like you're watching the game through the letterbox. You can only just see the pitch. You can't really see much of the other stands, so I don't know, it just makes you feel like you're looking through tunnel vision a bit. But other than that, there's not really a lot bad about Selhurst Park. Really nice ground, really nice staff, and yeah, I'd recommend going there. It's a really nice stadium and it's got a lot of history about it. So, yeah, if you're ever in London, then take a trip to Selhurst Park. Really nice stadium. Number 12, the King Power Stadium, Leicester City. I went here in the FA Cup when Derby played Leicester in the 16-17 season, and despite the fact of losing 3-1, this was a really decent experience for me. You know, it was something new. It was the first time, I believe, I went to a Premier League stadium, and yeah, like, the home fans made a shed load of noise, and when they scored a goal, I'm not joking, that stadium rocked. The atmosphere was second to none, to be fair. I've got to give them credit for that. They literally made that stadium rock as soon as, you know, they scored that goal. So, in terms of atmosphere, Leicester's probably one of the best atmospheres I've been to. Stadium's smart, and there's you know, it's definitely not a soulless bowl, but yeah, there's just other better stadiums that I prefer. So there's nothing wrong with the stadium itself or the fans or anything like that, but there's just other grounds I prefer compared to the King Power Stadium. So that's why I've ranked Leicester City at number 12. Number 11, the City Ground, Nottingham Forest. When I came here, it was a 0-0 draw in the East Midlands derby when Gary Rowett and Mark Warburton were at each other's throats in that game. But yeah, in terms of the game, it was boring. But the atmosphere definitely wasn't, you know. In terms of the ground, it does have a lot of character, a lot of history, you know. I'm trying to be as unbiased here as I can. It does have history, you can't deny that. But the reason that I've ranked it at number 11, just missing out on the top 10, is because as a Derby fan, on Derby Day, you don't really get to see the glorious side of what the City Ground is known for by other away fans. So that's why I can only rank it at number 11, because we don't really get to see that side of the City Ground ourselves. It's usually, you know, get escorted by police to the ground and, you know, go to the game, go home. We don't get to have a proper away day at Forest, but yeah, I'm only going to rank them at number 11 because, you know, it probably does have a good reputation for being a good away day by other fans. So yeah. Just sneaking into the top 10 is Meadow Lane, Notts County. When I went here, it was a pre-season friendly, and it was a hot summer's day. Sold out away end along that the long stand at the side of the pitch, and it was just a lot of noise by the Derby fans singing "Stand Up If You Hate Forest." Notts County fans joining in with us, clapping, applauding. We won 4-0 as well, and it was just a relaxed game, and it was it was a really nice day out. It didn't really feel like anything competitive. It was just a day to enjoy in the sun, and I think that's just why I've ranked it higher than Forest. Is we did get to see that side of Nottingham when we went to Notts County. So yeah, I think Notts County just steals some of Forest's limelight there. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably put them on equal par, but Notts County was just more enjoyable because of the day itself.
Number 9, Deepdale, Preston North End. Now, what Deepdale lacks in atmosphere, it makes up with in character. You know, the stadium itself, I find, is very smart, especially with, like, the club legends sort of made out in the seatings, you know, in 3 of the stands. And the smaller stand to the left of the away end is still sort of, I don't know, quirky in itself. It sort of makes it a bit like, it looks a bit like Blackburn's ground, but without the tiers. And I don't know, it's got a certain charm to it. We won 1-0 when we came here in 2016, and there's not really much I can say about it. It's a nice stadium, it's really cosy, and yeah, it's definitely deserves a place in the top 10. Fantastic ground, I would definitely like to go again. Number 8, Hillsborough-Sheffield Wednesday. Now, since the first time I came here, Hillsborough's definitely grown on me. Because the first time that I came here, I thought it was a very drab, run-down ground. I didn't like it at all. It felt a bit like a cowshed. It really did, and I really wasn't a massive fan of it. But since I moved to Sheffield, I've been here 3 times since, and it really has grown on me. You know, you sort of see what it's like from the home ends instead of the away end, which I think is more run-down than the other stands are. And you see how much nostalgia is in this stadium. You know, it's steeped in history, glory, tragedy, and it's just a very grand stadium. And to be quite honest, I'm glad I changed my mind about it. You know, I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Sheffield Wednesday fans and the fan base itself, but certainly the ground does deserve credit. You know, I love grounds that have got history about it, and Sheffield Wednesday, you know, they've definitely deserve to boast about their ground's history and them being a historic club. So yeah, Sheffield Wednesday deserve to be at least in the top 10, so that's why they're at number 8.
Number 7, Griffin Park, Brentford. Now, Brentford are going to be moving out of Griffin Park come next season to their new stadium, but Griffin Park, I think it's got a very nice charm to it. You know, it's a small stadium, very compact, old-fashioned, and it's got a lot of history about it. The locals support their local team instead of supporting the likes of Chelsea or Arsenal or Spurs or any of the other clubs, and that's what I like about it. It's very homely, especially when you come here on an away day. You know, you've got a family around the corner that, you know, they have like, they make burgers and hot dogs and stuff like that rather than having a company-owned burger van. You know, they have locals cook food for away fans and for the home fans, and it's just got a nice feel about it. It's got a very warmth about it, and it's a shame that I'm going to, not be able to go here again, but yeah, they definitely deserve a place on number 7. Number 6, the AMEX Stadium, Brighton and Hove Albion. Now, this away day was free travel for Derby County fans in the 2016-2017 season. We did lose 3-0 in this match, but Brighton were challenging for promotion, and it was a shame of the scoreline, but the away day in itself, you know, Derby fans were really enjoying themselves. You know, free coach travel, cheap tickets. I think we paid 20 quid for the whole away day in itself, and yeah, I really enjoyed myself. You know, the Derby fans were doing the conga, for goodness sake, for the stands at 3-0 down. We were just making light of the situation. I think that's what the away games should be about, just enjoying yourself regardless of the scoreline. Atmosphere was good from the Brighton fans, not so much the Derby fans, but you know, you can't win everything, and I did enjoy my day out at Brighton. You know, the stadium's nice, really grand, and they've got padded seating as well. You can't go wrong there, so that's why I ranked them where I have. So yeah, Brighton just miss out on the top 5. Number 5, Pride Park, Derby County. Okay, I may be a bit biased here, guys, but let me just explain why I've put Pride Park at number 5. The stadium itself, I think, is just so smart. You know, there's not a lot wrong with Pride Park. It's got a good capacity. We give a decent away amount of away tickets to the away fans. And we've even got a Greggs, for goodness sake. You can't go wrong with Greggs. You really can't. But I think that we could do a lot better in terms of our ticket pricing for the away fans and the home fans, for that matter. I remember the first time when I came to Pride Park, it was magical. It was a evening kick-off against Middlesbrough. The pitch was glowing. It had a magic about it, and it's one that I'm never going to forget. You know, it's got sentimental value to me. It's my home ground, and yeah, I'm being biased, but I think Pride Park is really underrated by other fans. Number 4, Villa Park, Aston Villa. Now, there is no denying that this is probably one of the grandest stadiums out of all. Aston Villa's Villa Park is certainly one that catches the eye, especially with its history, its brickwork on the outside. I don't know, Villa Park is just an amazing looking stadium. It's a good looking stadium, full of history, full of character, and there literally isn't a lot wrong with Villa Park. The only reason why I've not put it in the top 3 is just because there are other grounds that I prefer more than Villa, but the atmosphere that Villa fans make, especially in the Holt End, it can be an absolute racket. You know, they give out a good amount of away tickets, and yeah, Aston Villa definitely is one of my favourite grounds that I have been to, but just misses out on the top 3 just because there's 3 other stadiums that I do prefer other than Villa Park, but definitely another ground that I'd love to go back to.
Number 3, Bramall Lane, Sheffield United. I have a lot of respect for Sheffield United, and this ground certainly has a lot of history about it. It has a lot of character about it, and the atmosphere can be second to none on its day. I love opening my window listening to Greasy Chip Butty song when I'm not at Derby matches. It literally is a wicked anthem for such a working class club full of real passionate fans, and Sheffield is a footballing city, and I do have a lot of respect for Sheffield United and their fans and the club itself. I've only been here twice as a neutral fan. I came here first time against Bristol City and second time against West Bromwich Albion, both times losing 2-1, but I do like going to Bramall Lane. I do like getting that matchday experience at this ground. It's something to savour, and yeah, I'd definitely say I have got a soft spot for Sheffield United. Number 2, Craven Cottage, Fulham. Honestly, I haven't got a bad word to say about the ground itself. It has so much character, so much history, especially with the cottage itself. You know, it's got the original cottage in between the two stands where the away fans are and the traditional old stand. The Thames stand, I believe, is currently under redevelopment, but before that got knocked down, I absolutely loved going to Fulham. You know, they give about a massive amount of tickets to the away fans, and it is a brilliant day out in London. You know what I mean? You can go out into London, you can have a few drinks before the match, and it just makes for a great away day, but it only just misses out because Fulham's ground just lacks atmosphere. It lacks that oomph on match day. But the ground itself, it is literally second to none. It's probably the most beautiful ground in the country, and yeah, that's definitely got into a number 2 place. And coming in at the number 1 spot, St Andrew's Trillion Trophy Stadium, Birmingham City. Now, loads of people are probably scratching their heads thinking, why have I put Birmingham City at number 1? Now, let me just justify, guys. So, in terms of the stadium, yeah, it's a bang average stadium. However, in terms of away days, this is literally my favourite away day. Birmingham give out a good amount of away tickets to the away fans every single season, and when I come here with Derby, I absolutely love it. The atmosphere between the home and away fans is always second to none. The ticket prices are literally spot on. You know, you can go for a drink in Birmingham before. It's just a really good day out, and the 3 times that I went, we won twice and drew once, and I just can't knock Birmingham. It's literally one of the fixtures that I'll look for first when the fixtures come out. You know, I love going here. I really like this as a ground. I like it as an away day, and yeah, I've just had to put it at number 1 because of how much I enjoy myself when I go to Birmingham City. So it's just more of a personal preference, guys, but yeah, that's why I put Birmingham in the top spot. And with that, guys, that is a list of my favourite stadiums that I've been to. Feel free to drop a comment in this video, say what your favourite stadium is, what you think I was right with, what you think I was wrong with. At the end of the day, guys, this is just my opinion. I've tried to be as unbiased as I can in this. And it's basically just down to preference and like my experience of stadiums. So obviously a lot of you are probably going to agree with me or disagree with me. It doesn't matter, guys. It's just for a bit of fun. It's just for a change, really. So yeah, but anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you are new to my channel as well, then please drop this video a massive like, subscribe and share it with your friends. If you haven't already, click the little notification icon next to the subscribe button once you have done that to be notified every single time I upload. It is as simple and easy as that, guys. But yeah, guys, that ends today's video, and I hopefully will see you guys soon. So until then, fans, stay safe. Peace.